the operating system that the bus information uses is Windows 7. Download bus theory information to be sent to and displayed by page plugins has stopped working. Windows can check online for a solution to the problem. Check online solution and close the program, or close the program. This next bit I really liked. It goes to this tunnel thing, and I went to Ingress Park, which is really nice.
The next stop is Waterman's Way.
And on a busway, it goes to this kind of tunnel thing. It's kind of strictly speaking not a tunnel. But then you've got this kind of gate out that goes over cobble. Ebbsfleet Station is in the middle of nowhere. And it's rather weird, like a high-speed station in the middle of nowhere. And also, it's very difficult to walk to this station from Northfleet, so if you're changing from Northfleet to Ebbsfleet International, it's very hard. And it's like a very windy and unintuitive route. Now what would have been really nice is if the busway had used this tunnel, so this tunnel was a busway and then it went to Asda, and then it stopped next to Asda, and then maybe it could go and terminate in Gravesend in a tunnel. That's the tunnel. And now to the lift to Asda. These are Ecodiscs. A bit dark.
Ground floor.
Because first generation Ecodisc an older voice. I could have made this busway just completely epic. They had it run through here, and then it would stop at Asda, but here, and then they would have it go through maybe a tunnel under Gravesend. And then the busway would go into a tunnel under the town centre there. That would be completely epic. There's a busway tunnel. And these escalators used to be narrower, and I think this bridge thing has been rebuilt. This is the lift going out of Asda. It's a rather boring generic lift. Let's ride this generic. That sounded like a trumpet, that noise. The door was opening. Sounded like it was actually... Yeah, that sounds like a busker playing a trumpet. Express lift the lions. I can bet you that this would only be very vaguely reminiscent of what an express lift would look like if Express hadn't been bought by Otis.
Doors opening.
Well, I think what happened was basically Otis basically, General Electric sold their share in Express to Otis, and then Otis then used the newfound influence to hostile take over the rest of the shares of the company. With this branch of Iceland, the entrance is disabled accessible, but the exit is not. There's a cruise ship down there. Now it's the car park underneath the council building. It's got a platform lift, which either it's turned off because the building's closed or it's broken. I mean, last time we came here, this building was open. The platform lift wasn't working. I think it's probably broken. Over there are the Otis lifts. These lifts here are Otis Europas, and they're extremely efficient. the extremely efficient Otis Europa lifts. So sadly they're locked off right now. This is inside the shaft. The goods lift in Tesco's. It's down to a basement level. That's the emergency stop button, and this stops at loads of floors. When I went back to the ground floor, a shop assistant wanted to take some stuff upstairs. He was confused that I was in the goods lift, but luckily didn't get upset and asked me to leave the door open so he could load the lift. This is the St. George's Centre in Gravesend. First to an awesome old Evans goods lift in Boots. Here there are some Otis lifts, and they've been modernised. You can still see the old indicator for lower ground and ground. And there used to be some completely original ones here, but they've got this over them. Really sad. That's where the original button was, and I mean, this lift you can still see many original features that don't work. Why couldn't they have kept the original indicator working? And I can see why they replaced the button, but they should have kept the old buttons work. It's like the old lifts were never there. Really sad. And these are set back from the wall, so the old ones set back from the wall. So I think they're still there, just under a weird screen.
Doors closing.
And this is lower ground, mezzanine ground. There's no reason why they couldn't have used it. The only explanation is that the generic lift company who did this was gonna just scrap the wiring and just make a profit out of scrap metal. Really horrible. This is Harmer Street in Gravesend, and this street echoes like the rectifilium in Naples. And especially when you have like buses with old voice, that sounds really spectacular going along here. Double deckers with old voice sometimes go along here. This street reminds me of the rectifilium in Naples, and also these wires going across, they look like tram wires. It's like there should be trolleybus or trams along here. I wish I could have got that on camera on the streets, because I mean the clock chimes when the clocks chime on Harmer Street, the echo, it sounds spectacular. I just wish I could have got that on camera. And now into the Thamesgate shopping centre. Now it's the lift. The lift and should go to the Gravesend. These are fast.
Going up.
That's generic. That's generics. Guideline lift services.
Please mind the doors. Doors closing. Going up. Floor 2. Floor 3. Floor 4. Floor 5.
Too fast for the voice to keep up.
Going down. Please mind the doors. Doors closing. Going down. Floor 4. Floor 3. Floor 2.
This is Gravesend Station, and what you can see here is this archway used to go into some stairs that went up and came up where this new brickwork is. This brickwork, it's been done in Flemish bond to make it look old. It is actually new. Flemish bond lime mortar looks really old. This is the right way to do heritage construction, but it's actually new brickwork. And platform 0, yeah, this station is the platform 0. It's a terminus platform, and on that side, that new brickwork, you can tell the colour of the brickwork changes, is where it came down on the other side. I can't tell where the exit would have been. And actually there used to be a footbridge, and sadly that's been replaced with this modern footbridge. And the thing is, it was definitely within the loading gauge, so there was absolutely no reason why they couldn't have kept the old footbridge as well as adding the new footbridge. It was a historic footbridge. The reason they got rid of it was because they're building the new central platform, and because it was too narrow it was too narrow to allow much movement, and it was not disabled accessible. But why couldn't they have kept it as well as building the new footbridge, just like as a shortcut? Because you had to walk a long way to get this new footbridge, and it's ugly because it was done on the cheap. And here you have the hydraulic motor room for this lift. And now what's weird is this lift has doors on both sides. Well, they should have just put it on this side and had a mirror, and then that would still be disabled accessible. Why do they need it on both sides? And it's less convenient. So then here is the motor room for it. That's the motor room for the middle lift at platform 1, and that motor room there, the design I quite like in a way. It actually, the way it's done, it actually does. They've done everything correctly. I mean, heritage architecture, you either don't do it at all or you do it properly. That's my thought. Either do it properly or don't do it at all. And although they use stretcher bond for the actual shafts, which I don't like, here is the motor room, which they've used Flemish bond for, which I like. And of course the motor room doesn't really have to be insulated against the cold weather, because it's not like it's designed for people to live in. So it's sort of against building regulations, but kind of they would turn a blind eye to this, because they're not going to sell it to someone as a house. They've got one under the bridge for this one. So then, but then the thing is, I'm not sure how I would explain what it would have been used for in the past. That's the thing. Over there are two motor rooms. The white one is the one of the lift I went in Tesco's, and that one on the right is the, I can't really identify it, and I can't find a way on. On both sides I found gates, but they're not quite up to the motor room, and they don't have a call button, so maybe they're obscuring the actual lift gates or something. And the thing is, these things, the lift shafts and this motor room, They don't need to look old, so they've got stretcher on. They don't need to look old because they're obviously part of this modern bridge. Ugly, because all this exposed stuff and really annoying.